Yo, right here in the small box. Afrobeats, the energy that Afrobeats provides for me is different. So I'm 10 toes down for that. So when I saw Roc Nation has ruined Ayra Starr's career, that's crazy. And Ayra Starr is leagues better than Tyla. Let's get that out the way. Like Ayra Starr compared to Tyla, bro, you cannot compare. Listen, when you play these songs in the club and you see how people be moving, it just makes sense. It makes sense. Like I love Afrobeats. So this is another channel I am not familiar with. I'm not even going to begin to say your name correctly. But with a title like Roc Nation has ruined Ayra Starr, I'm about to dive in with this. We got a 9-minute video that we're going to check out. So let's not waste no more time. Like, comment, share, subscribe, notify. You tap in with your favorite Canadian reaction channel and network. Let's go ahead and dive in with this right here. Let's go.
Is Ayra Starr, guys, another fail for Roc Nation? There seems to be a lot of, conversation about her. There are TikToks, videos, think pieces, tweets about how she basically has disappeared from the music industry, and she was very happy to be signed with Roc Nation, but prior to signing she definitely was on the come up, and we would see videos of her, and her song Hot Body of course was great, but her song Hot Body, it should have been something like Water from Tyla, but it wasn't. And for some reason it fell. And it seemed that the radio play decreased as she signed with Roc Nation. And I do wonder why this has happened to Ayra Starr. And she isn't the only one. Jess Glynn recently announced that she was departing from Roc Nation because she was just simply upset with how she was being managed. She didn't like the fact that she wasn't getting the opportunities that she thought she would have. And so signing with Roc Nation, is it actually something? Is the grass really greener on that side is what I'm trying to say. When you're on that side, that grass may actually fade and turn yellow or be burned. And that's exactly what it's looking like to me. Hey guys, it's Normani. Hope you guys are all doing well today. Daily and consistent content. A bit of a random video, but I wanted to discuss this because people were talking about Chloe Bailey and how, she's getting critiqued for the fact that she was attending Kanye West's concert, and the fact that she wanted to affiliate with Chris Brown a couple of years ago, and that prior to that she had all of these songs that were pretty good but people weren't buying into it, and that her performances were really good, but unfortunately Roc Nation simply weren't giving her the boost.
Brother, why is your leg up? Put your leg down. Jesus Christ.
That was necessarily needed, and the conversation was why, because there was so much talent there behind her, the vocals, the performance, everything was there, but for some reason the songs weren't working, the push was not there. Then you had the conversation of Jess Glynn, which we spoke about roughly 2 months ago, discussing how she effectively disappeared from Roc Nation outside of that specific flight theme song that basically went viral, and her voice was behind of it, the Jet 2 specific slogan. Outside of that, I've not really had much of Jess Glynn.
Nah, that pixie cut on Ayra Starr looks deadly. You see it? Goodness.
And so she was frustrated with her treatment of Roc Nation and eventually left, it was reported, and now people are saying the same thing about Ayra Starr. There was so much hype about her once she was signed. There was so much excitement about her because she was about to be one of the biggest stars. She was up there with Tyla. Both of them kind of started together. I remember this very vividly. But Tyla's career has completely taken off to the moment where she's, performing sold-out gigs all the way in India and Saudi Arabia. She's in global situations here, whereas I'm not really seeing Ayra Starr anywhere. Some of you guys might not even know who Ayra Starr is. You might recognize her voice from a song, but outside of that, you might be like, who are you even talking about? And that is because I believe her label isn't giving her the push that is needed. And is Roc Nation sometimes a label that employs a lot of these artists because they find out that these artists are very talented, and then make sure that these artists are stalled, restricted, prevented, so that the main breadwinner, i.e. Beyonce, can continue to be talented. Now this is an outlandish theory, and I'm not saying that it's a fact, because Beyonce basically is that talented. She can out-talent so many people, in my opinion. She's just great at what she does. But I do think that there are principles placed into Roc Nation where they can prevent other artists that they hire to do as great. If we look at the lawsuits with Desiree Perez, who's the current CEO, there is so much manipulation that she's allegedly been accused of, let alone the fact that she used to work for the mafia, let alone for the fact that she was literally pardoned via Trump. So, you know, clearly she was a very corrupt individual, still is apparently from what her daughter is saying. So it's not far-fetched to believe the fact that there could be corruption going on within the label to restrict certain artists so that they can prevent them from getting bigger, so that they can focus on the main talent. You would think that the more talent they have, the more money that they can make. But also, I do believe outside of Megan Thee Stallion, and her career seems to be up and down, to be honest with you, in my opinion, they like to restrict and focus on the main breadwinners. And that's what I think Roc Nation is doing here. Because there's way too many artists now that are expressing frustration, whether it's Chloe Bailey, Halle Bailey, not that they've expressed frustration, but you can clearly see the careers are not taken off. Rita Ora at one moment as well basically fell off, and I'm not really sure why, because she had so many #1 singles in the UK. There's so much potential for her to come back, but clearly that's not working. And then outside of that, you got Jess Glynn, who left, and Ayra Starr basically now is the one person that everybody is speaking about. There are
No, Schizo, that's exactly what's happening, because we wouldn't know about it, but in the continent of Africa, some parts of Africa, they actually hate Tyla, and they always talk about how Tyla is watering down Afrobeats and Amapiano. It's almost blending the two in a sense as if it's just one Afrobeat genre, right? Like she's dumbing down Afrobeat music because it's so mainstream. Ayra Starr is not that. Ayra Starr, if you go and listen to her music and you go listen to the beats, say for example you isolate the melody, or not the melodies, you isolate the vocals on the song and you just listen to the instrumental, the quality within the instrumentals in her projects is undeniable. But when you have a Tyla that's a watered down version of pretty much her, when I look at your comment, I'm like, oh no, this is common knowledge. A lot of people out there do not like Tyla, and I'm talking outside North America. Within North America loves Tyla. But that's how it's always been. Every couple years, when you have that artist that's an international sensation and you make the mainstream, it waters down what they started with severely. Tyla's cool. I'm cool with Tyla, but there are far better artists out there, and Ayra Starr is one of them, for sure.
So many important TikToks discussing this in a very well manner, and I want to play some of those clips in here where people are basically, you know, talking about this, and I just honestly find it to be super interesting because I think that it is a great point. I think it's a great point when we look at what's going on here and we look at the fact that some people are really upset. I think they are well entitled to feel that way because it's true.
Roc Nation is take people like Chloe, Normani, Tinashe.
Oh no!
Recently, or your
like no, not Normani and Tinashe. I didn't even think about them, but I think that Normani is a separate case because I believe she had issues with her mother who was not well, and therefore she decided to, you know, move away from music. But I'm going to play the rest of this TikTok for you so that you guys can watch it properly.
It's time to head back to Nigeria because Roc Nation is not going to get you to the heights that you want to reach. Now, Ayra, if you ever come across this video, just know that I am in the top 1% of your fan base, which in short means that I love you and I want you to be great. But you have a problem, girl, and that problem is Roc Nation. Roc Nation, like a lot of many large American music labels, have been notorious for neglecting and shelving their black artists, specifically their black female artists. Take people like Chloe, Normani, Tinashe, and more recently, or your past Roc Nation label mate, Justine Skye. None of them or none of their careers received any massive pushes just because they were signed to large labels. And on top of that, your situation is unique because you're an Afrobeats artist, or so we thought. I'll come back to that point, but you're an Afrobeats artist, which makes it a bit more difficult to market and sell your music to American audiences. You're competing with Black American pop and R&B artists who don't have...
Already right there, that's not supposed to be happening. She is not in this crowd. So why are you treating her as if she's a part of this crowd? That's what they did with Tyla. They wanted Tyla to compete with this crowd, so they made the music sound like it came from this crowd with light elements from overseas. And they were trying to recreate that with Ayra Starr. yeah, leave Roc Nation.
Have to do any of the groundwork because their genre of music has had time to marinate and reach a larger global audience. Hot Body should have had the run that Water did, and for a second there, I thought that it would, but honestly, your label dropped the ball. Waiting so long to release the music video, changing the music video concept from the ice melting to you dancing on a boat, not hitting all the radio and festival and event circuits was really just a lack of planning and a lack of vision on their part, and I'm really, really upset for you. And to be honest, I think it's because they didn't think that Hot Body would actually do so good initially, which is why I think some of the songs that Ayra has come out with post Hot Body sound like it's trying to cater to an American audience, but unfortunately, they don't ring true to who she is artistically and what we've known.
But even Tanashi is another example. There's so many of these people, and I think that, you know, Roc Nation seems to be squandering their artists, and I don't understand why. My theory is that they want to restrict them as much as possible so that the, you know, bigger people can continue to flourish and keep them as the main breadwinner.
I understand Meg Thee Stallion is like your S tier artist at Roc Nation. And Roc Nation recently got Momo Boyd. But when you have a powerhouse like Ayra Starr and you're not treating her right, the disappointment is not directed to the artist, it's directed to the label. So when I look at JayZ and them, I got a lot of disappointment because we just seen how far removed he is from the culture. Now you're misusing just elite cultural artists from a nation, from a land where their music is S tier. Nah, that's crazy, bro. How many of y'all even know about Uncle Waffles when it comes to I'm a Piano? Jesus. I be listening to Jealousy endlessly. Oh my days.
Winners, but I don't know why that would be the case, because the more money for them the better, because they've got so many legal issues to deal with anyways, and legal fees, and they're buying so many houses and liquid cash. And even Desiree Perez was on camera talking about how, you know, the label was about to go bankrupt. I wouldn't know why they would want to restrict certain people. Why do they fail them? Why do they make sure that they don't go anywhere? Why do they push them down the drain? And why do they put them? I don't understand. But people are becoming a lot more vocal about Ayra Starr, and I think that she's just become another one of the digits. And we're going to be here in 6 months talking about another artist who's just signed, you know, under them. Rihanna was very much established prior to jumping onto Roc Nation. She did work with JayZ.
Why you keep moving around like you wanna? That's a crazy freeze frame. That's a crazy freeze frame. Why you keep moving around like you want to Addy?
Prior, but I don't believe that she was immediately on Roc Nation starting her career. She was already established before. I don't get why, you know, all of these people have been pushed down, but I think that Roc Nation definitely is corrupt in what it's doing. No different to Bad Boy Records, in my humble opinion. Of course, birthed by Diddy and Clive Davis. All of these people, these executives, they like to birth these record labels either to money launder, to manipulate their artists, to have breadwinners and restrict other people. You know, just like how a modeling agency can be used to lure in young people like what Epstein was doing, record labels do something similar as well. And I feel like we should have a wider discussion on this. And I think that it's important to analyze this. And I don't understand, well, I'm glad that people are doing it now, but I feel like people have been talking about it here and there. But I don't want to see a documentary in 20 years time about Roc Nation. Let's talk about a conversation now. Let's have this conversation now. Let's just open it up. I don't know if anybody else has experience in regards to Roc Nation. Even when JayZ did his GQ interview, there were plenty of people coming out, calling them out, talking about, I did this photography for you, but, you know, I never got paid, and etc. Like, all of this, it definitely exists. Billionaires don't become billionaires naturally without, you know, taking advantage of anyone. And that's what I believe is happening here. And Ayra Starr seems to be the other unfortunate victim for what it looks like.
Damn, that's Katy Perry.
All my personal opinion. Let me know your thoughts out, guys, when it comes to this video. Do subscribe to the channel, comment down below.
What a Justin Trudeau do to, like do you think Afrobeats was starting to uproot the R&B soul genre? Bro, it already did that like years ago. It's just that no one has their, like, okay, when it comes from music coming from, whether it's Nigeria, Ghana, or just any part of Africa, when it comes to the whole continent, a lot of people don't have their eyes over there. So whatever translates to other countries is going to be like the viral hit. So like, I listen to a lot of UK music, but at the same time, with all that UK music, you're getting a very strong and healthy amount of Afrobeats from out there as well, based on what they be listening to. There is an African community in Toronto as well. So when you go out to their events, they have Afrobeat nights or they have Afrofusion nights that's also mixed in with R&B and hip hop. Then you start to hear some of the hits they be listening to consistently in those club nights. So I get exposed to the music through them. I'm going to say this right now. Afrobeats already is running circles around R&B. Without a doubt. Without a doubt. When you have acts like Burna Boy prior this man's ego getting involved or ego getting in front of him, when you have acts like Wizkid and all the collaborations that he has, and then you start getting into the Amapiano songs that they be playing at the club night. If you would have seen how Africans party, oh my God, you are going to get tired just looking at them. If you ever see them party, you'd expect the whole club to be on drugs, but that is raw energy. This song is wicked. If you ever seen what the ladies be doing to this music, Jesus Christ. Oh my God. Like, this song is dangerous in club settings. Jesus God. Oh my goodness. Waistline on zero gravity. Holy. Nah, this hey, this is dangerous. Let me exit this video, cause jeez. What I know about Ayra, don't do that. Ron, don't do that, gang. I know too much. What? And they went crazy. There you go, Ron. See, Ron understands. Holy. Holy. That's crazy. Ayra Starr is a dangerous artist and Roc Nation is misusing her. Oh my God. Damn shame, bruh. Damn shame. I'm a fan of Ayra Starr. Her music is incredible. So shout out to her for sure. Jeez. All right.